Tony Stark and Victor Von Doom are real brothers. I found something very interesting in Avengers Endgame's 1970 time travel timeline. And it's a proof that Tony and Victor are the born from Maria Stark's 1970 timeline. When I rewatched Avengers Endgame, I noticed something strange about the 1970 sequence. Tony and Steve are there for the Tesseract, but the emotional focus quietly shifts to Howard Stark. Howard casually mentions that his wife is expecting, and Tony listens with a smile that hides confusion, pain, and curiosity. For the audience, it feels like closure. For me, it felt like a door opening. Marvel rarely wastes dialogue, especially when it involves time travel. Howard does not just say Maria is pregnant. He talks about fear, responsibility, and the terror of becoming a father. That conversation is placed with surgical precision. I think it exists not only to heal Tony, but to establish something that will echo decades later. A child is coming. But what if the truth is that two children were coming, and history only remembers one of them? This is where my theory begins, slowly and quietly, hiding inside a moment that everyone thought they understood, waiting for the right story to pull it back into the light. And once you see it, you cannot unsee the implications it creates for the future, especially for the next Avengers era. That is the danger, right here. I think the key lies in what Marvel does not show us. We never see Maria Stark during that pregnancy. We never hear doctors, scans, or details. All we have is Howard's voice and Tony's reaction. In my breakdown, that absence is intentional. Because in this theory, Maria Stark was not carrying one child. She was carrying twins, Tony Stark and another son, born minutes apart, but destined for radically different lives. The idea sounds shocking, but Marvel has used hidden siblings before, and time travel opens doors that normal storytelling cannot. What matters is not just the birth, but what happens immediately after. Because while Tony is healthy, brilliant, and strong, the second child is not. From the moment he enters the world, something is wrong, something fragile, something the Starks cannot explain. They try everything. Money, influence, science, hope. But none of it prepares them for the answer they are about to hear. This is where the tragedy begins, long before heroes, suits, or sacrifices ever existed. And this tragedy is carefully erased from official history, because some stories are too painful to remember, and some truths threaten everything that comes next, especially this one, more than anything. According to this theory, the second child is named Victor. From birth, Victor Stark is weak, fragile, and constantly fading. Howard and Maria spare no expense. They bring in the best doctors from across the world, the brightest scientific minds, and experimental treatments that push ethical boundaries. Nothing works. Every day, Victor grows weaker while Tony grows stronger. The contrast is unbearable. Imagine being parents watching one son thrive while the other slips away in your arms. Eventually, the verdict becomes unanimous. Victor cannot be saved. The doctors say it gently, but the message is brutal. Science has reached its limit. This is Earth 616, a world built on logic and progress, and even here, some lives cannot be preserved. And that is when desperation opens the door to something darker. Howard Stark has always believed there is an answer to every problem. This time, belief is all he has left. And belief, when stripped of reason, can become dangerous. That danger arrives in the form of strangers with impossible promises. Promises that no doctor would ever dare to make. And that is where everything changes forever. For the Starks, and for the multiverse itself, whether they know it or not. In this version of events, the Starks reach a breaking point. They are no longer thinking like innovators or public figures. They are just parents, staring at a clock that is running out. This is when two visitors arrive with an unusual story and a carefully crafted identity. They present themselves as admirers of Howard's work, scholars impressed by his contributions to humanity. They speak softly, confidently and with unsettling certainty. Werner and Cynthia do not mention magic at first. They talk about alternative methods, ancient knowledge, and solutions that exist outside modern medicine. Howard listens because he has no reason not to. Maria listens because she has no strength left to refuse. And slowly, the impossible becomes tempting. They promise what no one else will: survival. Not a chance, not a miracle, but a guarantee. But guarantees always come with a cost. And desperate people rarely ask what that cost truly is. This is the moment where science steps aside, and something far older takes control, without permission from the universe, or from the parents involved. And Victor's fate is sealed, long before anyone realizes it. Even the ones making the deal, especially them, every single one, without exception. The offer is simple and terrifying. Give them Victor for a few days. No hospitals, no questions, no interference. Cynthia finally reveals the truth, not as a threat, but as a promise. Magic can save Victor. Absolute magic. She says that in 7 days the child will be healed completely, stronger, healthier, destined for greatness. Howard and Maria hesitate because every instinct tells them this is wrong. But then they look at Victor, fading, struggling, barely breathing, and they break. They agree to the deal, not because they believe in magic, but because they cannot live with doing nothing. In that moment, they are not choosing magic over science. They are choosing hope over certainty. The arrangement is specific. A location is provided. A time frame is fixed. 7 days pass slower than any experiment Howard Stark ever ran. Maria memorizes every detail of Victor's face before letting him go, because something inside her knows this goodbye is different. Still, they follow the instructions exactly. They drive deep into a forest to an address that feels unreal. This is 1970s America, but it feels outside time. And that feeling matters more than they realize. It always does. 7 days later, Howard and Maria return. They bring relief, fear, and a desperate kind of optimism. They expect answers. They expect their son. Instead, they find nothing. No house, no people, no signs that anyone was ever there. The address leads to empty land, silent and untouched. At first, they think they are early or late. Then panic sets in. Howard searches records, maps, permits, anything. The place does not exist. The people do not exist. It is as if Victor was erased. For the first time, Howard Stark faces a problem he cannot solve. Maria collapses under the weight of it. Their son is gone. Not dead. Not alive, just gone. Authorities are contacted. Investigations begin. Nothing turns up. Years pass and the search never truly stops. But the truth is, Victor Stark is no longer on Earth 616. He has been taken somewhere else entirely. Somewhere no satellite, no file, and no genius can reach. Howard eventually accepts what he cannot change. Maria never fully does. And so they raise Tony alone, protecting him, loving him, losing one child twice. This becomes the secret buried beneath their legacy. And it stays buried for a very long time. But this is only half the story. Because while Earth 616 mourns a child it can never find, another universe is about to gain one. A universe the Starks will never see. This is where the story quietly steps beyond familiar ground. Not into space, but sideways. Into a reality where a small nation called Latveria exists. And where fate has been shaped by loss long before Victor arrives. I am not going to fully enter that world yet. For now, it is enough to know that Victor survives. Not by science, not by chance, but by forces that understand the multiverse far better than any Avenger ever has. Those forces made promises too. Promises that will demand payment later. And that payment will reshape everything we think we know. Victor's disappearance is not an ending. It is a transfer. A relocation across realities, one that only a demon could arrange. But his name has not been spoken yet. And it will not be spoken today, because that reveal changes everything. It reframes Tony Stark's entire life, and it turns a forgotten child into something else, something terrifying and inevitable, especially for the Avengers, in the years ahead, very soon. As Tony grows up, the absence of his brother becomes a ghost in the Stark household. It is never discussed openly, but it shapes everything. Howard becomes stricter, colder, more obsessed with legacy. Maria becomes warmer, more protective, afraid of losing another child. Tony feels this imbalance even if he cannot name it. He grows into a genius surrounded by expectations he never agreed to carry. In this theory, Tony's loneliness is not accidental. It is the echo of a twin who should have been there. A balance that was stolen before it could exist. And that imbalance pushes Tony toward the man he becomes. Brilliant, arrogant, afraid of failure, afraid of loss. This emotional fracture is subtle, but it matters later. Because the multiverse remembers what people try to forget. And forgotten bonds have a way of returning. Sometimes as heroes, sometimes as monsters, and sometimes as both. Tony never learns this truth in his lifetime. But the universe does not care. It keeps its own records. And those records are about to surface. In the worst possible way. Long after Tony is gone. When no one can stop it. Not even gods. Or Avengers. Or time itself. Either. This is why I believe Avengers Doomsday will open in the past, not with a battle, but with a memory. That 1970 moment will return, reframed, extended, and recontextualized. We will see Howard Stark learning something he never told Tony. We will see the weight behind his smile. Because when Howard says Maria is pregnant, he knows the risk. He knows the fear. He already knows what it means to lose a child. That knowledge changes everything about that scene. It turns a warm exchange into tragic irony. And it sets the emotional foundation for what is coming. This is not nostalgia. It is setup. Marvel has been planting this seed quietly for years. And now it is ready to grow into something darker than Thanos ever was. Because this enemy is personal. It is family. And family wounds never truly heal. They just wait. Across time, across universes, across destinies, until collision is inevitable. And that collision has a name, but I am not saying it yet. Because we are not ready. You need the other half first. The half that explains how Victor survives, and who takes him, and why, and what he becomes. That comes next. Up to this point, everything I have explained lives within human emotion and choice. Love, fear, desperation. But the second half of this story introduces a force that does not care about any of that. A force that feeds on it. Someone was watching the Starks long before they made that deal. Someone who understands broken families and stolen children better than anyone. This presence does not act directly at first. It whispers. It waits. And when the moment is right, it offers exactly what people want most. Not happiness, but escape. Escape from pain. Escape from consequence. Escape from reality itself. This force is not introduced by name. It does not need one yet, but its influence is already spreading. It reaches across universes like a shadow, and Victor is at the center of it. Not as a victim, but as an investment. Because some souls are worth more than others, and some destinies are carefully engineered. Victor's destiny is one of them, and it begins with being taken from his universe, taken from his family, taken toward something greater, whether that greatness is salvation or damnation. That depends on what comes next, and who controls him. This is only the beginning, and beginnings are always the most dangerous. And prepare for what comes next, because the next chapter changes Marvel forever. And it starts exactly where this one ends, right here, with Victor, lost, found. On Earth 828, Latveria is not just a country, it is a wound. A land shaped by war, mysticism, and forgotten knowledge. Here lived Werner von Doom, a brilliant physician who believes science should serve humanity, and Cynthia von Doom, a woman who walks the line between sorcery and sacrifice. Their love is powerful, but cruelly incomplete. They cannot have children. No matter how advanced Werner's medical knowledge becomes, no matter how deeply Cynthia explores the arcane, their future remains empty. This absence consumes them. In Latveria, lineage is legacy. Without an heir, their name ends with them. And for Cynthia, that loss becomes unbearable. Magic, unlike science, always promises one more door, and she is willing to open it no matter the cost. Cynthia's journey leads her to a place no mortal should reach. Through forbidden rituals and ancient texts, she makes contact with Mephisto. Not as a hero, not as a conqueror, but as a mother. Mephisto does not grant wishes freely. He offers contracts. He sees Cynthia's pain and names it precisely. He tells her that he can give her a child, but not one born naturally in her world. He speaks of another universe, Earth 616, a child already born, already suffering, already unwanted by fate. Mephisto's condition is simple and horrifying. The child will live, but Cynthia's soul will belong to him. Werner knows this deal is wrong. As a physician, he has sworn to protect life, not barter souls. But desperation drowns principle. Together, they agree. And with that agreement, the multiverse bends. Using Mephisto's power, Werner and Cynthia are transported from Earth 828 to Earth 616, arriving precisely where and when Victor Stark is dying. They disguise their true nature, presenting themselves as benevolent saviors. They do not lie outright. They simply omit the truth. When they see Victor, they understand immediately. This child is special. Not because he is weak, but because his existence sits at a crossroads. Two universes want him, and only one will keep him. When Howard and Maria hand Victor over, they are unknowingly completing Mephisto's design. The 7 days are not about healing alone. They are about transfer. Victor is healed through magic, stabilized through science, and then removed from his universe entirely. By the time Howard returns, Victor is already gone. Earth 828 gains a son. Earth 616 loses one forever. Back in Latveria, Victor von Doom is reborn, not as a Stark, but as a Doom. His body is restored completely. His mind, however, is altered by the journey. From an early age, Victor understands that reality is not fixed. His parents do not hide the truth from him. They teach him science as rigorously as magic. Werner teaches him anatomy, engineering, logic. Cynthia teaches him spells, symbols, and the hidden structure of existence. Victor grows faster than any child should. He learns not just how the world works, but how worlds connect. The concept of universes is not theoretical to him. It is personal. He knows he came from somewhere else. And that knowledge becomes the core of his identity. As Victor grows, tragedy returns. Mephisto comes to collect. Cynthia's soul is taken, dragged into hell despite her sacrifices. Werner attempts to save her, defying Mephisto with both science and sorcery. He fails. But his failure is not meaningless. His resistance teaches Victor something crucial. Power alone is not enough. Control matters. Precision matters. Emotion must be mastered, not indulged. Werner dies protecting his son, leaving Victor truly alone for the first time. This loss hardens him. It does not break him. It refines him. Victor vows never to be powerless again, never to beg, never to lose family without rewriting the rules that allow such loss to happen. Victor's brilliance takes him to university, where he meets Reed Richards. Their relationship mirrors the comics perfectly. Mutual respect, intellectual rivalry, hidden resentment. Reed represents pure science, curiosity without restraint. Victor represents synthesis, the union of logic and will. Where Reed explores, Victor conquers. Their friendship fractures under ego and ideology. An experiment goes wrong. Victor is scarred. The mask becomes necessary, not just to hide his face, but to contain his rage. Reed leaves to become a hero. Victor returns to Latveria to become something else entirely. A ruler, a protector, a god in all but name. Victor Von Doom takes control of Latveria not through violence alone, but through loyalty. He provides stability, technology, protection. The people worship him because he delivers what others cannot: order, safety, progress. But his ambitions extend beyond one nation. Victor remembers Earth 616. He remembers that he was taken from somewhere, and he begins to understand why. Through his parents' experiences, Victor learns about the multiverse, about incursions, about collapse. He sees that heroes react to threats. He wants to prevent them at any cost. Doom does not see himself as a villain. He sees himself as the only one willing to do what is necessary. This is why the reveal in Fantastic Four: First Steps matters so much. When Sue Storm calls an emergency meeting to discuss Galactus, we see an empty chair marked Latveria. That chair is not empty because Doom is absent. It is empty because Doom does not ask permission. He operates above councils and teams. And in the post-credit scene, when we glimpse Doom from behind, already aware of Franklin Richards, the implication is massive. Doom understands the importance of lineage, of power inherited. Franklin represents everything Victor could have been if he had stayed on Earth 616. And that makes him dangerous. Not as an enemy, but as a variable. Eventually, the truth comes out. Doom's face mirrors Tony Stark's. The resemblance is not coincidence. It is blood. Doom is Tony's twin brother, separated by universes, shaped by loss instead of love. This revelation reframes everything. Tony's intelligence, Doom's arrogance. They are two sides of the same origin. One raised by guilt and protection, the other by sacrifice and ambition. Tony saved the universe by trusting others. Doom seeks to save it by controlling it. And in Avengers Doomsday, these philosophies collide. The opening scene returns us to 1970. This time we see the full truth. Howard knows Maria is carrying twins. He knows the risks. He knows one child may not survive. That knowledge haunts him, and it sets up the ultimate tragedy. Tony dies never knowing his brother lived. Doom lives, knowing his brother died a hero. That imbalance fuels Doom's crusade. He does not want to destroy the Avengers. He wants to replace them. To build a system where sacrifice is no longer necessary. Where no child is lost to chance. Where no universe collapses due to heroism without foresight. Doom's multiversal journey begins not with conquest, but with correction. He has knowledge of other universes because his parents crossed them. He has magic and science because he was taught both. He understands Mephisto because he has already lost everything to him. Doom is not Thanos. He does not seek balance. He seeks control. And that makes him infinitely more dangerous. Because control feels like safety, and safety is seductive. By the time the Avengers realize Doom's true origin, it is too late. He has already positioned himself at the center of the multiverse. Not as a destroyer, but as a necessary evil. And the final irony is this. Doom is doing what Tony always tried to do. Protect the world. He is just willing to cross lines Tony never would. That is why this story works. Because Doom is not born evil. He is born broken. And the multiverse breaks people in different ways. This theory explains why Doom knows so much. Why he targets specific bloodlines. Why he understands time, sacrifice, and inevitability. He is not just a villain entering the MC. He is a missing piece returning to it. A Stark without restraint. A genius without forgiveness. A son without a home universe. And that makes him the perfect antagonist for the next saga. In the end, Avengers Doomsday is not about stopping Doom. It is about understanding him. Because Doom is what happens when the universe takes something and never gives it back. And sometimes the scariest villains are not created by hate. They are created by love that had nowhere to go. If this theory blows your mind, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because the multiverse is just getting started.